My guest today is one of the busiest and hardworking DJs on the planet, the torchbearer of DJ vinyl culture, keeping the true spirit alive within modern clubland, combining sounds of yesteryear and of the future. Coined today as the 45 Queen, her New York residencies, Soul in the Horn and Mobile Mondays, are two cultural institutions that are widely known and respected. Having shared the DJ booth and stage with a list of legends, frequently traveling the world for festivals, clubs, fashion parties, digging for records, sharing her record collection and good vibrations, embodying the rich New York City nightlife legacy. On today's episode, we're going to be discussing taking the leap into music, the difference between setting intentions and setting goals, how to overcome challenges women face in a male-dominated DJ industry, and finding meaningful relationships in DJ land and the music industries, both personally and professionally. Natasha Diggs, I'm so thrilled to have you.
Thanks so much for having me.
I had no idea you were such a night owl. Do you find did you find yourself more productive at night? Is it because of all the DJ world that you've sort of adjusted to this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because I travel quite a bit. So a lot of times when I come back to New York, it takes me a while to readjust my schedule back to, daytime hours here. So naturally it kind of fluctuates. But, during this quarantine time, I've just noticed I'm up late. And I think maybe it's the stillness of the night. Maybe it's even more inspiring to me somehow.
So yeah, you find yourself more productive and more conducive and at the witchy hour.
Yep. And then I also just kind of magical when you see the sun come up, that kind of hour too.
Yeah, totally. Love it.
Magic.
You've been DJing and collecting since your teens. However, you were a school teacher before going into full time into music. And if I'm correct, were you a student at New York University? I think I read something, if I'm mistaken.
No?
Okay.
No.
All right. So what were you teaching?
I was a preschool teacher. Teaching toddlers. I worked in a Montessori school, and so I was teaching toddlers like babies, pretty much. And so I was doing that during the day and DJing at night, and I was doing this for quite a while.
Oh, so you're doing both? You were juggling both?
Yeah, I was doing both.
Wow. How old were the kids?
They were from 18 months to 3 years old, so they were little ones. Yeah.
Right on.
But I always say it's not that much different. Toddlers at 7 a.m. and drunk people in the club at 4 a.m. It's pretty similar.
Same kind of crowd response, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so following your passion and anything that you truly love, even if you don't know for sure if it's going to work out and where money's going to come from, and standing on that edge can be very scary for some. Was that the case for you? And when did you feel comfortable that you wanted to take that leap into just going full time into music and leaving teaching?
Right. I really loved my job as a teacher. So it was, as well as I loved the DJing and music and stuff. But I do think I knew that I wanted to move more into the direction of doing music. I always figured, I loved working with kids, but I could always eventually do that again or whatever. But now it's really the time when I wanted to pursue my music stuff more. And I had wanted to do it for a while, but living in New York and I kept on getting the last year where I was oh, this is it. I'm going to, just take off and just start, continue my DJ stuff. Then I ended up getting this job offer, and it was and I read my horoscope that week, I remember, and it was you're going to get this job, an offer that's going to, increase things financially for you. And it's going to be good for you in that way. But if you take that, things are going to also open up creatively for you. So I was just okay, let's see what happens. So it was one of those things where I was they offered me the job almost immediately. I went for this interview or whatever. And I gave them, they were what do you require? What's the salary? So I told them, because, working at private school is a little bit different, but I told them what I wanted. I was I'm going to just ask for an extreme high number because they're never going to give it to me. So I can, quit this job teaching thing and go on. And they came back and were willing to give me this offer. So I was damn, I really got to take this job now. But it was crazy. I took the job, and then the very next week, Q-Tip asked me to DJ with him at a party that we ended up doing. we did this party offline every Wednesday in New York during that time. So it was crazy because it was like exactly as the horoscope said. It was like things were going to, like I was going to get this steady job type thing, but also I was going to have this opportunity for this creative expansion or whatever. So, and then not only was I doing Mondays, some weekend nights, I was also doing a Wednesday, and I was teaching a full-time 40 plus, maybe 50, like, because it was the very beginning. There was like a brand new school and they wanted us to stay extra and do workshops and all kinds of stuff. So it was like 50-hour work week, DJing late night. It was like definitely a lot of work. It was like I was running on adrenaline that last year. And that was like the last year before I kind of quit.
Made the whole switch.
Teaching. Yeah. But it was insane. I was barely sleeping. I would sleep like an hour before going to, on the nights that I was working. But I don't know. What was the question?
No, that was cool. Like, I mean, because I think, clearly it wasn't a question of whether you had work or not as a DJ, because clearly you were DJing a lot and juggling this other role. It sounds like it was getting to that point where it was like cutting the cord from the other job and just like really,
Yeah, I guess it was like that last year kind of pushed me over the edge, as in like I thought I was ready to quit and stuff. I don't think I knew how. Yeah, I think when I was working as much as I was that last year and just not sleeping and kind of like, it was insane. And I was like, this is not good for my health, So like, I have to really pursue this all the way. Like all the signs were pointing me in that direction. And as soon as I did, things opened up in an even bigger way, So it was like really.
But it wasn't scary. It wasn't scary. It wasn't like a scary decision.
At that time, it wasn't. No, I mean, I think for years before it was, but by that time, it was almost like, oh my, everything was pushing me towards that. Like, you better do it. It's like, you'll be crazy if you don't do it. So.
Yeah, no, because I guess some people face that time where sometimes some people sort of dive into something when they don't have that financial security, and that can really be scary to do that. And sometimes when you take that leap, there's that whole expansion you were talking about. And sometimes when you do that, it's like you're opening up all these doors.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it can be daunting to take that leap.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I had some money saved. It wasn't like I was just going into it like with nothing, but at the same time, I didn't know where, with DJing, you never know where your next check is going to come. It's not like the most stable type of gig, but as soon as I did invest that more time, it was like, I always say it's like when you're jumping off, you're taking that leap of faith. It's like the safety net doesn't show up until you make the jump. You know what I mean? You don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how it's going to work out, but you have to just take that jump and trust it, especially if it's something that is really you're passionate about, and it's like coming from your heart,
What about now? Like all of us, we're not gigging publicly and not playing out. Are you finding opportunities for online stuff at the moment? You've been presented with things like that, and
I think it's such a new thing still. And everyone's like, I think, everyone has been like kind of scrambling to figure out what it is or where they can place themselves and everything. And honestly, I've been just taking it easy a little bit, or taking my time, I should say, and really going within right now. Like I've been on the road a lot the last few years and DJing a lot, giving out a lot of energy. And I feel like this is a moment for me to kind of go within and reconnect with what my purpose is, why I'm here. Like the moments like these are like, we get so attached to these roles that we're playing of like, oh, I'm a DJ or I'm this or I'm that. But like none of this is permanent, and like everything is always shifting. So it's like thinking about the bigger reasons that we're here and why we're here. And so this time has been really powerful for me for that. And now I always go on a tangent and forget what the question
is.
You're
right. You're right. It's good. It's flowing.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to edit this later out, right?
No. I like to keep it nice and raw like this.
I'm like stream of consciousness here. The time of reflection. Yeah. So I think, in times like this, it's good to remember. I've really, from early on, this is quarantine, I kind of shut off the news and, like I kind of limit I'm definitely on social media still because, that's the way that we connect with our friends and all that. But I've been limiting kind of that too, because especially in the beginning, there was so much propaganda and fear stuff going on. And I needed to step away from that. I needed to go within and I needed to listen to my inner guidance, like I think we all have within us, our intuition and our inner guidance that can kind of point us in the direction that we need to go. like more than what anyone else can tell us for ourselves. You know what I mean? Like we all have that innate ability. So deeply listening and taking that time for myself has been really important, and not feeling like, actually right before we got on this phone, I was talking with a friend in India, and he was telling me that, like, you know, a lot of people have this thing, performance anxiety right now. Like, and I'm like, what's performance anxiety? He's like, yeah, well, just like they feel like this need that they need to keep performing, because like that's what, you know, we like people do as humans. Like, and I was like, oh, okay, that, because I think maybe for like the first, you know, week of this quarantine, or like not even a week, maybe first few days, I was starting to feel that, because everyone was hitting me. It's like, when are you going to start live streaming? When are you going to do this? And I was like, oh my God, like this just happened. Like, and I was like, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I like and I was like, oh my God. And then I was getting anxious, and I'm like, that's really dumb. Like this, you finally have a pause in your moment. I mean, yes, I feel like the live streams and everything that's been so valuable, and a lot of people, that has been a light source for people. The people who are doing it, it's giving them life, and the people who are receiving the music and the art and all that stuff is giving them life. It's been a beautiful thing that so many people have live streamed. But we also have to listen to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like what feels right to you? Like in this moment, it feels like the thing for you to do. I mean, for so long I've been running. I haven't had a moment to like sit and think about some of the creative projects and things that I've been wanting to work on. So this time has been really valuable for that for me. Just getting to go through my records, organizing stuff, working on a lot of music. This has been like, for that, it's been an amazing moment. I mean, I hate the circumstances that it's under. Of course, it's not, you know, don't love that people are suffering. But I also know that the universe has a way of balancing things out, and that hopefully there will be also a positive side of this, this moment of pause. And I think in a lot of ways, it's already connecting us in different ways. You know, it's making us be more grateful for the things that we maybe have taken for granted for so long. And hopefully when we come out of this, we can come out in a better way.
I think so. I think that with this time now that we're all having this time to look within, that it's only going to make us shift internally, and that's going to come out externally. I think people are learning more now because of this time. They're having to reflect. It's kind of like we have to do it. And I think that can be difficult for some people because they've been so distracted for such a long time. And I think there's going to be a lot of challenges for some. Some people might be already sort of prepared for this sort of thing as well because of kind of inner work that they've done before. But yeah, and like you said, everyone's dealing with it in different ways. It is also a time to be non-judgmental about how everyone's sort of dealing with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So look, I'd love to hear more from you, like the challenges, and for male listeners in particular as well, to share sort of challenges of what you face as a woman, as DJing, and what are those challenges that you've experienced in the past. Yeah, please tell me about some things that you've personally faced as well.
Yeah, you know, it's hard for me to speak so much on it because I try not to focus too much on those things. Like, you know, I like to see myself as a DJ, you know, like not a female DJ per se, but like, sure, I think maybe coming up like at a time when there wasn't as many women doing, you know, DJing or whatever, it's always this feeling like you need to prove yourself, you know. A thing that I've been realizing now during this time is somehow how hard I can be on myself. You know, I have like this kind of almost crippling type of need for perfection sometimes, even though things aren't perfect. And
would you say that's a conditioning from being a woman, and like either generational or societal sort of conditioning, and that kind of comes through? Is that part of that?
I'm not sure about, I think maybe.
Or is it just a personal thing? So
it could be a personal thing. I'm not sure. But like, I think that I was reflecting on it during this time and thinking about like, you know, just always feeling like this need to prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like, or, you know, like, oh, she's a girl. She just got that gig because she's a girl, or she's cute or whatever, you know, or this and that. You know, it's like, no, maybe I got it because I'm good at what I do. I care about what I do. I'm passionate. I put my energy into it. I'm different from how you are. Like, I don't have to do the same exact thing that every guy before me has done in order to prove my worth. You know what I'm saying? And I think women and every DJ or whatever is valuable for their own personal vibration that they bring to what they're doing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm not sure. But I think on the flip side of that, I will say that I just try not to focus too much on that. I feel like there's a lot of advantages to being a woman as well. And I like to focus my energy on what I want to see. And I also have to say that there's been a lot of amazing guys in this industry who have been mentors, friends, and champions of me. So, I mean, you could see it both ways, and I could to focus on the bad experiences or whatever, but I think that I like to focus on the many ways that, guys have in this industry and women have supported me along my journey. The same way I want to continue to support other women and other DJs coming up as well. So I think it's all in your perspective in a lot of ways. Yes, there is definitely still work to be done. But, I think that we all can do our part in helping to support each other. And Meg always says, support your home girl and support your home guys and like whatever. Like, we could always focus on the bad stuff, or we could keep it moving and make the best of these situations,
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I think whatever you focus your energy on, you give more attention to, right? So if you kind of shift it to a different perspective, it's not like you're ignoring the fact that there are challenges. If where you shift your energy and you focus on, that's what you're going to get more of, right? So if you get, so
correct.
Yeah. I hear you on that. And
yeah,
I guess why I sort of brought this up, because also I was having this discussion yesterday, like saying female DJ or just saying, no, it's just a DJ, that's it,
right.
Remove that context.
Right.
Because, and it takes away from that stigma and keeping and separation,
mm-hmm.
So do you recall any incidences in the past that were kind of like, real standout kind of experiences that were kind of either rough or brutal? Like, no, like, was there any kind of men that were like really sort of degrading or anything like that? Or
I know there has been, but I just
you don't want to talk about
block
it?
those things out of my mind. You know what? It's like you haven't really made it unless you have haters, right? I guess they say something like that. Like there's always going to be people who are talking shit about you or whatever. And you know what? It's okay. You have to just like let that go, because some people, they don't have anything better to do than,
And is that your strategy with, or the approach of how you overcome them? It's just like stay on focused and just turn the other cheek sort of thing. Yeah.
You got to stay focused, because people are going to tell you all the things that you can't do and whatever in life. But if you like start giving your energy to those people, they're sucking you dry almost. You know what I mean? Like my energy is my life force. And so where I put my energy and where I put my thoughts and my intentions or whatever, that's what I'm going to see grow. So it's like, of course, it's hard to hear people talk badly about you and things like that, and I can consider myself, in the past, I've been like a sensitive type of person, so like those things could sting or hurt or be painful. But over the years, you learn how to like, I guess, toughen up a little bit or whatever. But also you learn that like, you're not for everybody, and that's okay. Like not everybody has to like you, or not everybody has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the people, if you continue to do what you're doing, the people who do appreciate what you're doing are going to gravitate towards you, So it's like, just because somebody else talks badly about you or tells you why, you only got this job because of this or because of that or whatever, like, doesn't mean you should stop doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? We can't let other people, I think, dictate how our life is going to look.
I think that's like a missing ingredient, or the sort of the key to dealing with rejection. Because if we can embody that idea that not everyone's going to like me, and that's okay, then it comes out in your like demeanor, your persona, and the way you was like, well, this is who I am, this is how you accept me, and that's it. Like, I think that's kind of the missing ingredient there. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big part of it. I think a lot of us, we grow up with this like need to people please. Like everybody has to like me. And like, like a lot of times that's conditioned from like an early age, like parents or whatever, it's like, oh, were you good in school? Did you get a star or whatever? Like, it's like the dynamics of life from which, like, and people are, it's interesting. It's not so black and white, but it's like, there's complexities to it,
When we spoke before the interview, you mentioned you set more intentions rather than goals. Tell me a little bit about that, like, and why have you chosen that kind of approach as opposed to, is it more of a design versus creation type sort of process for you in the way you sort of look at your future?
Yeah, I think with intentions, it's almost like, for instance, every so often I write down about 10 intentions, and the way I write it is with the sense of gratitude. So even if it's something that hasn't occurred yet, it already has, because I think it's, for instance, I'll give you an example because you're probably like, what are you talking about? I'm grateful for the gift of being able to travel freely around the world doing work that I love, something like this, right? Before I was traveling constantly to work and stuff like that and to DJ and stuff, these were things that I had written, but I had written it in this way of gratitude. And
like it's already happened almost, right?
Yes, like it's already happened. And I think that's kind of like a key to manifesting in a way, is like to
100%.
act like it already exists, like,
The quantum field.
Yeah, exactly. And just trusting that. And that's, again, that's where that deep listening and meditation and spending time with yourself. So you know that it's coming from a place within. These are things that you want for your life, not that somebody else says that they want for you, or not what your parents tell you, or not what, you saw on social media that someone else was doing and that looked cool. But no, it has to be something that's coming from within, that we're all here for a purpose. We're all here to share, our passions, our gifts, or whatever, and it looks different and unique for every person, so yeah, like.
Would you say that it's more of a vibration rather than like something full on specific, rather than say, hey, I want, and you like really define a particular thing that you want to achieve? It's more of a description of an outcome and a vibration.
Yeah, and when you say vibration, I like that because it's also about the way I want to feel, beyond just like this material goal, it's more about the feeling behind it. Like, yeah, for me, I think that it's like subtle difference, but like.
Do you reflect on those intentions regularly, and like, so you sort of feel them?
Yeah, I actually, I write them down every so often. Like I kind of like tweak them or just.
And you rewrite them. Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, but I read them to myself every day.
Cool.
Usually out loud, like at some point. So
awesome.
It's like, and it's just to reaffirm and to remind myself, like, these are part of the things that I want to feel, like, that are part of what I want to create in my life, and these are part of my bigger purpose. And so just realigning with that, like on a daily, for me, is powerful. I mean, yeah, sometimes I miss a day or something, but I encompass it. You know what I mean? It's like, I want it to be, a driving force in what I'm doing.
Meditation?
Yeah. Every day I meditate.
And do you have a particular style or technique that you use, or?
Not really. I don't even know sometimes what exactly. I mean, just quiet, sitting with myself, quiet, depending on where I am or what. Obviously, when I'm home, it's a lot easier to, carve out my space and do that. When I'm on the road and, sometimes you're getting up early or flights or this and that, it's like, it might be a little bit wonky, but, usually I like to do it in the morning before I'm checking my social media and all that stuff. Like,
yeah.
I want to start my day kind of like going within, kind of visualizing how I want to feel, how I want the day to go.
Cool.
And then just like quieting my mind, allowing some kind of internal guidance to come and flow through me,
Yeah, you mentioned that before, like listening to that inner voice. And I think that's a real key, especially now, is actually trusting that and listening to it. I think is really important right now. And a lot of people are learning that for the first time too, can be daunting.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much right now. Is a time when there's so much misinformation going around too. It's we don't know. Like the truth of the matter is, like, everyone wants to say, oh, we're not opening up till September. Oh, we're not opening up till 2022. The clubs will never be open, like this, that, whatever. I mean, there's so much stuff. Like, if you actually listen to what everyone's saying, you'll be so freaked out. Like,
yeah.
So
I've caught myself go down those holes, and I'm just like,
oh my God, it's hard not to go there because it's everywhere around you. When you see people's posts and this and that, and everyone's the way people talk, I'm like, but who is the expert? Like, how is everyone the expert on all this thing? It's like, truth is, nobody knows what's going on still. Like, they're still figuring this out day by day. In that sense, it's like the best thing we can do in these moments is to go within and realize that there is a purpose for everything in these moments. And like, we need to, as much as we can, embrace this moment and see what the lesson is for us, what we can get out of this moment. We can grow from this moment. Just, I think there is a lot of good things can come from it,
Mm-hmm. DJ work is very demanding with our lifestyle, like our health and travel, commitment to late nights, and we wear many hats and we encounter many personalities in different environments. I wanted to sort of learn a bit more about your take on, the feelings of loneliness and depression that can creep in with our work. it happens to me. And I know a lot of DJs face this as well, especially today with the demands that we have and the many hats that we have to wear as DJs. I mean, how do you deal with those sort of when loneliness or depression sort of creeps in? Do you have certain practices that you use to keep your energy and vibrate? I mean, you touched on meditation and your intentions. Is surrounding yourself in the right environments, key people, family and friends very important?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're in nightlife and DJ world, there can be a lot of energy and a lot of people coming at you. Sometimes, with the best intentions, but it can be a lot. It can be overwhelming. It can be, overbearing. Maybe some people, they're having not the best day or who knows what. You're exposed to all that energy being in the club, being, night after night, those types of things. And it's really important to know that, to be able to separate that and all the people and fans or this or that or whatever from your inner world sometimes, or it's important to cultivate a strong family community, even if it's small, people who are your real family, your real community, who know you, who hold you up beyond just you being a DJ, you know what I mean? Or you being someone who can get someone on the list or whatever, so it's it really is important, I think, for whatever profession you're in, I think, to have a community of people who can have your back and, who you can, be there for each other and, hold each other up. During this time, for instance, I have a couple of groups of friends and we try and check in with each other at least every other week. Or just during this time, we're all self-quarantine. We're all women on our own, type doing our thing. But it's really powerful to check in, see what we're going through and, together making breakthroughs, being able to support each other, give each other insight, hold space for each other basically as we're going through these processes and these moments,
So you have, I guess, your own kind of little community of friends and family that you can have that time and that reflection. And that's something that you check in regularly and cool.
Yeah, I try to, I feel it's interesting because during this time, we've actually been checking in with each other more frequently than, usually when we're actually working.
Yeah.
And everything is these days we're making more of an effort to connect and, just check on each other and support each other through our moments because we're not having as much actual interactions in the flesh and stuff like that. So it's that can be another kind of bright side, I guess, of this moment is, somehow even though we're all socially distancing, we're somehow connecting more in different ways.
Yeah. Look, I've found that in the DJ industry, how we are in relationships is very important, and finding meaningful, caring and loving relationships is even more important with the work because of the demands in public and nightlife that we're in. And how do you find yourself navigating through the many different personalities that we encounter and sustaining quality, meaningful relationships, professionally and personally?
Yeah, I think it's energy doesn't lie, I think. And when you spend enough time with your own energy, you kind of, it's law of vibration, you can attract that type of same vibe. But it's cultivating your own kind of self-love and self-care and stuff like that. I think that is the first steps to cultivating meaningful relationships. And so if you can't have your own relationship with yourself is the most important relationship you have, right? So if you can cultivate that and make that healthy or, work on healing, we all have trauma. We all have stuff that we've gone through, if you can work to nurture yourself, talk kindly to yourself. Some of the things that we can say to ourselves is so harsh that we would never say that to a friend, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think it starts within, with our own selves, with our own relationship with ourselves. And then from there, you can kind of, your boundaries of what feels good and what doesn't when you already cultivate it within yourself. So then when you're, encounter other people, it's easier for you to tell when things feel authentic and feel nurturing to yourself versus feeling off or it doesn't feel good. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's great.
So again, it comes back to, I think, vibration. Cultivating.
Yeah, it's kind of a relationship for yourself first, and then that's the first part of the equation.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I'm so glad that we got to speak like this as well, because it's something, I've had the opportunity to create this podcast for this kind of interaction with people in the music industry. But when I actually first met you, I always wanted to actually talk a bit on this sort of level for my own, because I've been doing this for a long time and I was always intrigued to hear your take on the way you sort of navigate through the music industry. And yeah, so I'm honored to chat with you.
Yes. Great. No, I love talking about stuff like this. I'm sorry if I go a little bit off on a tangent, but this is
no, hell no, not at all. Not at all. So have you got anything coming up at the moment for online streaming? Have you decided anything that's interesting that you want to be part of, or and you can tell the listeners to check out?
Yeah. Well, I just did a stream for Glitterbox Festival out of London, Glitterbox and Defected.
Who was that for again? Sorry. Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Right, with Defected.
Yeah, I did a live stream for them a couple weeks ago, and that's up now on YouTube. It's archived on YouTube. If you search Glitterbox Natasha Diggs, it should come up.
Wicked.
Apart from that, eventually we're going to start a Soul in the Horn stream. We're just, taking our time again. I'm kind of been working on other like music projects and getting stuff in order and just taking my time. I know things will happen at the right time, so I'm just trusting that. But yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that.
Your involvement with Soul in the Horn, I mean, you've been involved from the start. What kind of hats do you wear for Soul in the Horn?
Yeah, I mean, Soul in the Horn is a party that I started with D. Prosper, who's the curator, host of the party. I'm like the resident DJ, but we both do our fair share of booking and bringing in people and just, the experience of the night and,
It's a great party, an amazing party. It's such a great time playing there that night.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, we love having you.
So, yeah, what other hats that you wear for Soul in the Horn?
Mostly been just the two of us doing from the beginning, just like, booking stuff, the flyers, the everything.
So who's doing your social media is on point. Like there's like stuff coming out daily. Like the videos are great. The selections are great. Who's doing that? Is that you? That's right. Okay.
That is all him. And thank God, I'm so glad that he loves to do that because I couldn't spend, I love what you post and stuff, but it's like I could not spend that much time doing it, so I'm glad that he loves it.
He's obviously got a flow. He's got a bit of a ninja kind of thing happening now. He's got it down pat.
Yeah, no, he definitely does his thing with the Instagram, and people love it. So definitely check out at Soul in the Horn, no spaces on Instagram to see what we're talking about.
Yes, for the listeners, whoever visits New York, that Soul in the Horn is definitely a party. I'm glad that I got to experience it because it kind of made me feel like I was experiencing New York history, and as well as just a party that's happening now, but it kind of embodies this essence of New York. And I think that's an amazing accomplishment to do that and keep that kind of flame going, It's awesome.
Thank you.
Aside from natashaddiggs.com, where else can people find you online?
Yeah, at Natasha Diggs, NATASHADIGGS on all the social platforms pretty much. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we've done. Look, thank you so much for coming on board. For the listeners, head to jameslocksmith.net. Once again, Natasha Diggs, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me, James.
It was so great to chat with you.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.